Good morning. I am setting the stage for some albatross photos for the website. What? Albatross photos for the website? Yeah. I've talked about this a lot. You've asked for it, a few of you. So we're going to start working on it, and now or never, we're doing it. It's going to be a slow transition. It's not going to be a overnight, everything's done. But I've been basically spinning my wheels and really kind of hung up on this idea of what photos I wanted for the website. And I finally decided they're all just going to be different for each yo-yo. It doesn't matter. And then I even decided I don't even have to have photos of just the same colorway. I can have multiple photos, different colors. It's perfect. There's no reason to have exactly the same photos for all of them. So I'm just going to go through and shoot good photos, crop them into squares for the website all the way through from the beginning and back. And so that gives us a good time to have a video series of going back in time and talking about a yo-yo that's no longer around, it's retired. But for those of you that are viewers and new here, you might want to know about the Albatross, and that's what we're here to do. Give you some backstory. The Albatross was G2's first yo-yo. Started in 2012, retired in 2015. And some of that backstory, originally my partner Brett and I worked on the Albatross together, and in 2011 we kind of decided and knew we wanted to make our own brand. At that time, Brett was a co-owner of High Speed Yo-Yos, a review website, tutorial type website with slow motion tricks, and then also had a retail store. So we had access to a lot of different yo-yos, and we kind of knew what we liked. At the time, we really liked the One Drop 54, the Punchline, the Caribou Peak, and Avalanche. So 2012 rolls around, and we get to the point where we're like, all right, let's try and do this thing, and we work on making our own yo-yo. And we kind of take characteristics that we like from each of those yo-yos that we were kind of most happy with at the time. The biggest thing was Avalanche was larger than those other ones. So we wanted the size of an Avalanche, a full 66 in diameter, and then we really wanted it to kind of like play like the One Drop 54 and have kind of the feel in the hand a little bit of the Caribou Peak. Now, all of those aren't like exact. You kind of go in it with this rough idea when you're designing a yo-yo, and you perfect it over time. And that was the rough idea that we had when we wanted to make the Albatross. The Albatross came back, and it was love at first throw. And that's hard to say because it's just this raw yo-yo. Raw yo-yos do not spin as good. so generic. But the anodizing helps them spin smoothly and maintain longer spin time. But we still love the Albatross in its raw form. The final specs ended up being 56 by like 43.95, and then 64.9 grams, just a hair under 65. But that's what we ended up with for the production run. And I feel like it did do a good job encapsulating what we wanted from a design, and then that extra diameter, while we still maintained the float that we were wanting and the ease of play, the softness. The diameter helped with the stability and spin time that was kind of lacking in some of the other models that we base it off of at the time for us. And that's what we got on the Albatross, and it was a big hit. You guys that were around back in 2012 also really liked it. If you haven't played it, I suggest to find a buddy and see if you can borrow it for a week or so. But that's kind of the story behind the Albatross. That's what started us off. That's what we originally wanted from a brand, was to make our own yo-yo. And the Albatross was the first one, and it was, almost perfect. Exactly what we wanted a yo-yo to be at that time. Even as I play with it right now, I feel like with updated guts, it would still be a huge hit. This day and age, nobody wants to pour their own silicone and let it cure over 24 hours. It's so nice to be able to just swap in new pads every couple months and do it in a matter of minutes. But overall, the play of the yo-yo is still great, and I think those of you that have gotten to try the titanium version that we had released I think that as much as people like that kind of really does play similar to this original Albatross and really is a titanium version of the Albatross. And I kind of think is just proof that if it did come out right now, people would still like this design. It's something that has it's held the test of time over 10 years now, and I feel like if it was just being released today, it would still be a huge hit. It does have, but that being said, old schoolish play is kind of in fashion. It actually never really goes fully out of fashion, but there comes in waves of where the community goes harder into competition style. And that is not what this is. Doesn't mean you can't compete with it. It just doesn't lend itself to be the easiest yo-yo to use for competition tricks and the most forgiving. Honestly, it still has a pretty good speed to it, and that's kind of always been something that I enjoy in my designs is the agility, not focusing just on full speed, but the ability to change direction easily. And that's what you get in yo-yos that have that float word, because they're not fully rim weighted. They have a little bit of mid weight. That's the Albatross. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Hopefully I hit everything. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place.